Welcome to Heart Home Community's most recent Baldwinsville Community Update. I'm your host, Shelley Hoffman. We hope you enjoy the show and find it very informative. Hey everybody, it's Shelley Hoffman and I am here with our mayor, my favorite mayor in the Village of Baldwinsville. That would be Dick Clarke.
Does that beat out all the other mayors of Baldwinsville?
Yes. How are you today?
Pretty good. You're my favorite host of Heart, Home, and Community, too.
Thank you very much. I mean, I it's a hard job to beat out those other people, but I do my
Well, it's another one of those ones where I was kind of thinking it was going to be fairly light. It's not huge, but we got a lot of little stuff for us to talk about and to let people out there know that are going on. Probably the biggest, as far as the village would be concerned, is that we're probably going to have a new director of the Chamber of Commerce. Yes. Mary Ann is stepping down as of Friday, I believe, and they are looking for somebody to replace her. So if you are interested in something like that, it's 25 to 30 hours a week. Mm-hmm. Your office would be right downtown, upstairs over the tattoo parlor. If you love being involved with the businesses in the village and knowing everything that's going on with the businesses and helping the businesses grow, it's a great spot. Get to work with a lot of nice business owners. I mean, our business owners got to be as nicer than anybody in the whole county, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think the web or the email is Matt, who would be Matt Hunt, Matt at heritageins.agency. So if you're interested, contact him. Go on our Baldwinsville Facebook site, Village of Baldwinsville site. I have a link that includes the email. So, but you got to hurry up because the 12th of March is the deadline for applying. Okay. I guess they want to get it done. So,
well, and I think Mary Ann, who's just been great for the community, she said that she would stick around to help in the interim, but she didn't. She's got things that she needs to be working on as well. So here we go. Matt Hunt literally just chimed in. The executive director position is posted on Indeed.com and can also be sent to him email directly. And he did put his email address in the comments. So I believe I can do this and people can see the email address right now as we're talking. So hopefully you get some good people out there, Matt, applying for the job. It's a great job. It's not that it's a ton of work, because it is, but it's if you love the community, it's enjoyable work. The one downside is, I don't know if you may know this, Mayor, but they talk to me once a month, so they'd be stuck talking to me. I don't know if that would be a deterrent or not, but if they don't want to, I'm sure Matt would talk to me every month, or once a month they have to talk to me. So
I would think in that job, talking to you would be a plus, because you get a lot of information out. People see these broadcasts and I hear people talking about them and, mention they saw this or they saw that. So I would think that somebody in that business trying to get the word out about businesses would want to talk to this kind of a vehicle. So I hope a lot of people apply and make it real tough on them to hire somebody, that they got a lot of great candidates, because it's good for our village. If anybody's got any questions about the village, call me. I don't think we need too much of a recommendation. I think we speak for ourselves, but we have great businesses, a lot of great restaurants, and I think you're going to see more and more as time goes on. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of vacant spots, I don't think, in the village right now. According to our code officer, there's very few open spots. I did see somebody working on West Genesee Street to the west of the coffee shop. And one where you have to go up a couple steps to get in. It used to be what used to be the coffee shop in there with a bookstore. We saw some people carrying in looked like a generator, like maybe they're going to be doing some work so maybe somebody's going in there. That would be nice.
Yeah, and they do the chamber does do the whole greater Baldwinsville, which I got to be honest, until the first few times I talked to Mary Ann, I didn't realize how much that actually covers. And just talking to Mary Francis about the town of Van Buren, which is also part of Baldwinsville Chamber of Commerce, It might be I don't think Taco Bell would necessarily join, but I just want to throw that out there again because my 16-year-old is very excited about the Taco Bell possibility where 84 lumber was.
Yes, and again, not only do people want to move here, but I think some businesses like that are thinking this is a pretty good time to get set up in Baldwinsville. And the greater Baldwinsville area is what the Chamber of Commerce deals with, and that's what we're talking about. So, obviously the village is impacted as much as anybody because we have a greater cluster of businesses,
yes.
And we hope that continues. And I think that one of the things I saw that was posted on the chamber thing when I was reading about the position is that if people want to get the hanging plants that make the beautiful look in Baldwinsville every summer, they're already taking orders. That's the Women's Garden Club of Baldwinsville. If you go look on the chamber site, I also posted on the Baldwinsville Facebook site. It's $50 for a hanging pot. And I don't think they ever have a problem really selling them out.
And they're beautiful. Oh my goodness. Last year, do you remember them last year? I don't know what it was called. I think I asked when we were talking about that one piece in the middle that kind of came up and then everything sprouted around it. And throughout the course of
the round ones?
Yeah.
Big pot. Yeah. I don't know what that was, but it was really a nice touch.
It was. Yep.
So if you like to get involved with the hanging plants and you haven't done it before, they have a deadline that's like in April. So I will try to post that and make sure that it's there for people to see. One of the things that I think Marianne posted when she said, sort of the first time that I officially had seen that she was leaving, was that she was talking to people that do work at the visitor center, the volunteers, to say that she wouldn't be signing up volunteers, but she assumed they still would be. And, keep an eye out for sign up and that type of stuff. And obviously the COVID impacts that, or whether we want to, put somebody over there to go face to face with people. That's a little ways down the road, fortunately, talking more like Memorial Day, but it is stuff we're talking about.
Well, to that point, last week you had mentioned about, and Marianne did send out the email asking businesses as far as if they had the canal being open brought businesses to them. So I'm hoping you did get some responses from.
I haven't heard from anybody yet. I'm hoping I do. So to repeat what Shelley's talking about is the canal is being the leadership and the direction of the canal is being moved to another agency, of which they have been talking about shortening the canal season. Last year, if you remember, we didn't open until July because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they closed right around Labor Day. Usually it opens earlier in May and goes till like first week in October because there's still a lot of people out boating. I mean, September is a great month to boat, the nice warm days. And so the concern that had been posed by some people was the shorter season will make it tougher on boaters, but it also could make it tougher on our businesses if they count on some of those boaters to come in and support their businesses. And so then the natural question is, does anybody have any sense of how much of an impact boaters have on your businesses? So that anybody out there, I'm not asking you to tell me that you get, $433 in a month from boat people, because obviously you don't know who all the boat people are when they come in. But you must have a sense that you have a steady base. And then all of a sudden, maybe during the daytime, you're having more people walk in that you haven't seen before. And you could kind of assume that some of them are boaters. So if we could just get a feel from people that, yes, there is a definite impact from people on boats, and we would hope that they continue to come longer season. And then we can turn around and give that to the state and say, please don't infringe on our success. And that was the hope with that. I'm still waiting to hear from some people. Some things from the state are a little bit, it's getting a little chaotic right now with what's going on with the governor. Nobody quite knows how that's all going to wind up. I mean, we had the nursing home situation, and now we have, at least 3 women who have made charges against the governor. And I know that the legislature is talking about taking away some of his executive order power. And, we'll see what happens. We also have, I saw something where weddings are now going to be able to be bigger. You can have up to like 150 people at weddings, but all kinds of restrictions. Everybody who comes to the wedding has to have passed a test within like 3 days. There'll be masks. You'll have pods, which will be like each table, and you only can dance with the people at your table. You can't be dancing with people from all over the room. And
sounds like middle school all over again, Mayor.
That
sounds like middle school dances all over again.
Yeah, right. So, it sounds like people will be able to have bigger weddings than they've been having, but it's going to be very tough on the venues to probably have to enforce this stuff. And then they're going to ask the wedding party to help enforce it. I would check with the state on what all the restrictions are, because it's very restrictive. But if you want 150 people at a wedding, you can now do it. So I guess there's good and bad out of that whole thing. I did see a note somewhere that they finally crowned the winner of the Big Chill. Was that your team?
That was my team, yes.
And so it was like $1,240 basically they turned over to the volunteer center, which I'm sure they appreciate.
They absolutely did. I heard Barb Presley, who is the board president, was very appreciative when it was presented.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice that everybody that did it with the idea that we want to keep that tradition alive and help out agencies in our village that need help, and so it was kind of cool. Everybody in the picture, and
well, I will just say on a personal note, I am glad that I did not get sprayed by my daughter in vain with a hose.
Well, it's like we were talking just before we went on the air about the fact that I mentioned flowers. I mean, we're hitting that spot where we're even thinking about flowers around the village. It just bolstered my whole feeling. I mean, I got a stiffer backbone now. And
get outside.
Daylight savings time is March 14th. So now it gets dark at like 6 o'clock, 5 after 6. In 2 weeks, it'll be, a little after 7 when it's getting dark. And boy, that doesn't help your morale to be able to have some dinner and still look outside and see the sun. I saw the weather forecast for next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the 50s. Everybody hopefully will be out, getting a chance to take a walk or, bust up the big piles of snow to help it melt quicker. And, it's still March. I understand we can get a big snowstorm. We've had them, but it just feels like we're coming out of the end of the tunnel. That long tunnel with a light at the end. That light's getting real close now. And we'll see what happens with the COVID stuff, with more people getting vaccinated and people being able to be outdoors, have the fun things they want to do, but we do them outside where it's a little easier to be distanced and stuff like that. Hopefully things will get better. I was just reading something about how horrible it is in Brazil. Their health system apparently is severely challenged to begin with, and now they're having 1,700 cases a day, and their hospitals are just full. No place to put people. And a lot of people are living in real bad situations to begin with. So I guess we have a lot to be thankful for, where we are. I mean, I know that. I don't have to be told that. But when you read stuff like that, it's just a nice reminder.
Yeah.
Just to give people a heads up, and I don't know if you and Mary Frances talked about it when you were on earlier, because I was getting ready for this. I didn't get a chance to watch. But there is a development going in out on Tappan Street, or they're hoping to put a development in that would be 124 homes and 3 apartment houses that would have like 36 apartments a piece, and it's that strip of land as you go out tapping, just before you take the 90-degree turn, goes over that farmland on the right. There's been a sign there for several years. And there are some concerns that I see people posting. I really don't want to go too deep into it because it's Van Buren's business, but it also affects the village. You know, we are concerned, particularly with traffic, that Tappan Street might not be able to handle all the extra traffic that would come down through there.
She did mention, Mayor, that they are doing a traffic pattern, some research and things. So if you watch the Mayor and I each week, Mary Frances, we literally just went live about an hour ago, and she does talk a little bit about it. I was wondering what the village's thoughts were, because it is in the village. I understand it's the town of Van Buren, but it's also village. So
no, it's not in the village. It's outside the village.
Oh, it is outside the village.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The village line ends right about where St. Mary's Cemetery is, right in that area. So it's not far outside, but it is outside. So it's in a sense it's not our business, but it could affect us. So we will be very concerned about what we hear about traffic. You know, whether they will. Somebody had proposed that maybe we would ask them to have no left turn signs coming out of the development so that everybody would go right and go down to Downer Street into 690 instead of having 60 or 70 cars coming down Tappan Street every morning. And I'm sure the school has concerns. I mean, if it's all young families moving in there, suddenly Van Buren School may not have enough room for all those young kids. And now they got to start thinking about where they're going to move kids. That development, maybe they send them to a different school. People think sometimes those things are pretty simple. We'll just say it's okay and build them, but it has that ripple effect. It affects everybody. And I know that some people are concerned about that was a big Native American site, that maybe there was an encampment of Native Americans because they have found artifacts in that area. So there's people worried about that. So there's a couple of public hearings that we will make sure we publicize. I posted stuff about, I think it's like the 25th and the 28th of March. I got to double check, so don't take me for being perfect on that. But I will get it posted on our Facebook page again. And if I read a lot of stuff on Facebook about people unhappy with a thing in Van Buren, people unhappy with Dr. Seuss books being, decommissioned, Mr. Potato Head no longer being Mr. just being Potato Head. You have to realize that you do have a voice and you have elected officials. Obviously, contacting the village about Dr. Seuss or that kind of, we don't have much impact, but you do have 2 senators from New York State, 2 U.S. senators, you have representatives, to the House of Representatives. You have state representatives, to the Assembly and the Senate. Yeah, let all those people know what you're thinking about anything. If it's taxes, if it's, whatever's going on out in the world, don't feel so helpless. Let people know because sometimes people, obviously some of our politicians have a thing in their head and it doesn't really matter what anybody says. That's their dream to take care of that. But some of them just don't know what people are thinking because people don't speak up. They get on Facebook and think, I sounded off on Facebook, now the whole world knows how I feel. Well, Chuck Schumer doesn't probably read our Facebook sites. I'm guessing.
Are you sure? Are you sure he doesn't?
I'm guessing that he's got other things to do. So I'm just trying to think I've got a couple things from the senior center. If anybody's been driving out 370, we have our going west. Our dome wells are out there going before you get to Seneca Estates, and we're redoing, replacing, refurbishing all the pumps so that the pumps at Dome Well will all be up and operating 100% very soon. They have to go 86 feet in the ground. They clean out the pipes and we had to pull one of the pumps, and Chuck McAuliffe got right on it and got it to some company who said, yep, get it on a truck and get it here. We'll take care of it. And we had it back in 2 days. So that pump is all fixed up and ready to go for another 15, 20 years. Okay. So that our water supply, when we get Donewell taken care of, then we'll switch over and update the Canton Street systems so that hopefully within 6 months to a year, all of our water pumps, electrical systems, and everything will be like brand new. And so people won't have anything to worry about for quite a while. We're trying to stay ahead of things and not wait till pumps break down and fix them. Let's do some proactive repairs and that type of stuff. So if you've been out that way and seen the big truck, I mean, it's a huge truck they have that works the derrick and, that goes up and down in the well. That's what's going on. We're refurbishing and working on some of the electrical systems inside the building, that type of stuff. So hats off to our board for being aggressive and let's get it taken care of in a time when a lot of people aren't spending any money because they're worried about COVID. But water supply is pretty important, and so we put up a priority on that, and hopefully it will pay off and no troubles for as long as I'm drinking water out of Baldwinsville. If it's 20 years before it has to be fixed again, who knows where I might be? I mean, I'm at 74. I may not be taking water from the well in 20 years. Who knows?
I'm sure you will be. I tell my kids I'm living to be 120. I tell them that all the time.
You're going to really make them pay for it, huh?
I say you take care of yourselves because you got to take care of me, and I'm living to be 120. So
there you go. Well, speaking of seniors, there are some things going on at the senior center. Tomorrow, from 11 to 1, is the senior fair in a bag day. You just show up between 11 and 1, and the group that's there, all the people work there. And a couple of usually Ed Barlow's around, and Avis Fuller may be around, people who are over there voluntarily, and they'll be out at your vehicle and handing you a bag full of all these things that you normally would get at the senior fair. And we've talked about it before. It'd be insurance stuff, health stuff.
Yep.
If you need help, it'll be all these information packets and stuff. And it's a chance to get out of the house. Hopefully it'll be a nice day tomorrow, and get to see a few people and say hi. And they look forward to it because I think they kind of make mental notes on who stops by. And they saw Martha and they saw Mary and Jack and Joe, and it's good to see them. We know they're okay. And again, to remind people, the senior center is there for any senior help with anything: food, transportation, health, heating, whatever it is. Call 638-4536. And they'll be happy to find a way to help you out. And they have been helping people, getting people signed up for vaccinations. So the Zoom bingo is this Tuesday for the March session. Will be March 9th at 2:00. If you don't know how to get signed up to play, call the senior center. They'll get you some sheets, bingo sheets, and then you just got to make sure you got some pennies or some, you can use pens to mark them up. But if you use pennies or little discs, then you can use them over again, which is kind of nice.
Are you guys going to play again this month, Mayor?
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there. Wife has got an appointment at 12:30, but we're making sure it's cleared up by 2:00. That was a lot of fun. I hope more people sign up. I think they'll get a kick out of it. The book club is still using Zoom. The art group is still using Zoom. Our memory lane group is still using Zoom. The memory lane hasn't grown, but the little group that we have of 8-9 people really have become pretty good friends. And some of the stories, the last 2 weeks, we've talked about stupid things we've done in the past, and it's pretty funny. And it's pretty funny that people feel that they can share that with other people, some of the goofy stuff they've done.
Well, and that shows how close your group has become too, is because you are sharing things. It's a safe environment and people will appreciate the stories and not judge you. Now, You can share your stories with me. I may or may not judge you. I'm just saying.
Well, I wanted to point out, I didn't say much before, but my sister Cindy had her birthday on the 27th, which was Saturday. And we had made a Facebook event thing that she didn't know about of trying to get 70 cards for her 70th birthday. And I can say how old she is because she looks like she's 25.
She does.
And acts like she's 19. I don't know where she gets the energy. But she got 116 cards, 118 cards. And she said she cried reading some of them because they were from people she hadn't seen in a while. Some people sent multi-cards like every day for like 4 or 5 days. She got a card from the same person. She got cards from people's cats, from people's dogs. She got some cards that were unsigned intentionally because there was no return address either. Got some from old high school friends that are friends on Facebook, but she hasn't seen them in years. So she got a friend of ours from Denmark, who we grew up next door to in the city. He sent her a card. That's when she got suspicious that I was involved. But actually, my wife Linda was the culprit. She did all the party setup, and Cindy said it couldn't have been in-person party wouldn't have been as good because she didn't like being the center of attention and that type of stuff. Although I'm not sure that's totally true.
Yeah,
but, Cindy, she just felt really special, and so for all the people who took part, and like I said, 115, 20 cards, probably at least 100 different people that were involved. It was a little overwhelming. She keeps going back through them, and she said it was almost like having coffee with one of my old friends, reading some of the cards. And so for people out there saying, yeah, this has really screwed up a lot of things for birthdays and stuff, if you think hard enough, you can come up with some pretty innovative ways to make it special. Look at the Big Chill. You guys found a way to make it work. Hosing people down in your yard. It worked. So let me just see if there's anything else. The food sense deadline is March 11th. Again, that's open to everybody, not just seniors. Call the senior center to get a menu of what's on the food sense agenda this month. And it's a pretty good deal. You get a nice variety of food. St. Patrick's Day drive-up event at the senior center is Tuesday the 16th at 2 o'clock. Wear your green, wear a mask, and they'll have some treats for you and some surprises. And at Rotary St. Patrick's Day takeout dinner on the 17th sold out in about a day.
Yeah.
Yep. And I haven't heard any more that they're going to have any more dinners available. I'm sure people are really disappointed. But some of the local restaurants probably have St. Patrick's Day dinners that you can order delivered.
And I just added to our screen too, Mayor, about Matt Hunt reminding everybody the last few days of Beeville Dining Weeks as well.
That's right, and I think from what I've seen, it's gone pretty well.
Yes.
I didn't talk to any of our restaurant people, but it would be nice to hear that it really, it is. I don't know if it's a strange time, but people still aren't going out en masse. I mean, it may change a little bit when the weather gets nicer and they can eat outdoors. And I'm sure all the ones that had outdoor seating are just really hoping it gets up to like 60 degrees here pretty quick, and they can even sneak an early day in or two outdoors. It excites me that they're aggressive.
I found out last week, Amy, one of the owners over at Brick and Barrel, they have a table right outside the door cleaned off with a heater. So no matter how much snow there is, this table, in case somebody really wants to still sit outside, maybe it's a day next week where it's 50, but they keep this table. And since she's told me that, when I drive by, I look, and sure enough, that table is always cleared off in case somebody chooses to sit outside. So I thought that was pretty neat. And they have the heater. Probably not so much on Monday. Was it Monday when the wind was whipping and the snow? Yeah. But on a day like, you're talking next week where the temperatures get up a little bit, that's something to keep in mind that they have.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, people thinking that would be, it's so different that somebody would say it was really cool. We sat outside. It was a little nippy, but the food was nice and warm, and we ate quick. And I think it's great that the businesses have been open-minded about trying to come up with ways, and I think it's great that our people in this area have supported them. And I don't know all the details on all the restaurants, but it seems like most of them. I saw one, and I don't know if it was Atlantic Seafood. I saw a post. If you want special stuff, you better call early, because we get overwhelmed type stuff. And I think it is Lent, so they're going to really be hot right now. And people, they're trying to set it up. I guess they have the remote type things where you can make your order and go sit in your car.
Oh, okay.
This thing starts blinking. Now you can go up and get your order. So you don't. Before, people were standing in line in the parking lot.
It was neat to see that long line. I mean, it looked like a ride at Disney World a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's so many people.
So, everybody's thinking outside the box of what can we do to make it easier for people who want to come to our business. Yeah. And so hats off to Chris and the crew at Atlantic Seafood for coming up with that. And I know when I go to my doctor's office, after you sign in, they give you one of those things so you can wander the building and you don't have to sit still. And it's never fails that I'm at the other end of the building when all of a sudden, boom, this thing starts. Now I got to race across and hope that they don't shut the door and forget me. So our businesses are trying hard, and I think they're seeing the benefits. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else I wanted to mention. I think I got it. It's all. Don't forget, SU plays at 5:00 today. This is a game that was not scheduled until last week. So if you have a normal SU schedule, you won't see a game today. But they're playing Clemson at 5:00. Pretty important game. If they win this game, they got a shot at being on the bubble for the NCAAs and maybe making it in.
Is that your Syracuse outfit, the current one?
This one worked Monday. The other one went in the laundry. It's been washed, folded. It's retired for this season. I've tried another one. We lost. So this one came out Saturday. This has got the also an S underneath. I have my SU sweatpants on. So I'm ready. And
you make me laugh.
How you think my wife feels?
and it's for Linda's benefit that I wanted to point out to everybody that you have a new Syracuse outfit on.
Yes.
So they can be sympathetic towards her. If she's 5 or 6.
You don't really think that helped them win the game, do you? I said, no, but I feel, comfort with my surroundings. If this outfit wins today, the next game they play, I'll wear it again, just because I'll feel better about where I am, not where the team is. I'm not really superstitious. When I won a game, I wore the same tie the next game, just to feel good.
I can't even, Mayor. But there's a lot of people like that. At least, it's not socks. There's some people that won't wash socks, from the time somebody wins until the time that they lose. So for your sake, I hope they win. I hope they win a lot of times in a row. For your sweatshirt's sake, I hope it gets washed every once in a while.
When the game is over, this goes on the shelf. And then if they play, they won't play again probably until next Wednesday or something with the ACC tournament. Then I'll wear it. If I win today, then I'll wear it again. But as soon as the game is over, I take it off and put another sweatshirt on because I don't want it to, get dirty. And I don't want my wife to sit at the opposite end of the room.
Oh, sugar. So, all right. Well, I hope SU wins tonight. Most people know that I love Baldwinsville and I enjoy living in Syracuse, but my teams happen to be in a different state. So I'm actually wearing mine, but the mayor told me I probably shouldn't show it. So because it's not well liked around here.
Well, for a lot of years, Penn State was the number one rival for Syracuse. I don't think we were their number one rival.
What's that?
I don't think that Syracuse was Penn State's number one. I think Pitt was their big rival. Yeah. But for us, it was every year for this Penn State football game. because Joe Paterno, and they were so good, and so that was always the game. And if you could beat Penn State, boy, that made your season.
Yeah.
And so we haven't played Penn State in a while, but people have not. Some of us older people have not forgotten the impact that Penn State had on our lives when we were younger.
When you were younger. Too funny. So I will let you go for the day. I look forward to always to our talks on. Oh, actually, we might as well say next Wednesday. We might have to get creative because I do have something for next Wednesday, but we'll figure it out. We always do. So
Sounds good.
enjoy your day, sir. You too. Bye. Bye.